Hello and welcome to this session on cost analysis and cost classification. In the two previous sessions, we have learned about the introduction to the cost accounting with the meaning, definition, and the concepts that we use in cost accounting. Cost accounting is a separate branch of accounting. Apart from financial accounting, we have cost accounting and the management accounting. There are three important terms that we use in cost accountancy. The first one is the term cost, second one is costing, and the third one is cost accounting. For the purpose of ascertaining and recording of the cost events or the cost items, it is very important to analyze the cost and make a proper classification of the same. In this video, I will going to discuss about the cost analysis and cost classification. Let us first see what is cost analysis. Cost analysis refers to the task of breakup of total cost into certain subdivisions. We understood in the previous videos that the cost is total amount of expenditure incurred on a given thing, unit of output, or a particular service rendered, where the total cost we used to refer. Now, cost analysis is the task of breaking up these total costs into certain subdivisions for the purpose of ascertain, control, classification, recording, etc. Classification of costs is an essential part of cost analysis. So cost analysis helps us in controlling the cost, planning, etc. That is the reason why we should take up the cost analysis, and the cost classification of cost is an important task in this process. It helps in proper recording and use of cost data or information at different levels of management. So we have a functional level, administrative level, managerial level, etc. So this cost analysis helps in taking a proper decision at different levels of management. Let us see what is the cost analysis with the further slides. Now question arises, why cost classification is required. Yes, the basic objective of cost accounting is to determine the total cost of product or service with a systematic approach by following appropriate cost classification principles. We understood that cost accounting is a systematic method of ascertaining and recording of the cost events or cost items. That is the reason why we need to classify the costs for the purpose of appropriate recording of the total costs that incur in manufacturing of a goods or services. Now, what is cost classification at all? Cost classification is the function of grouping of costs according to their common characteristics. We classify costs into several parameters like material, labor, or other expenditures. So these are the common parameters or characteristics. Based on that, we further grouping the costs and we ascertain them and record. Then we will ascertain the total cost of a product or service. Now let us see the objectives of cost classification. The first important objective of cost classification is it helps in calculation of cost of production. It is the primary function or the primary objective of cost accounting is to ascertain the total cost of production or total cost of service rendered. So in doing this, we need to know the nature of the costs, the classification of costs in an appropriate manner so that it helps in ascertaining and calculation of the total cost of production of a particular unit of output or a service rendered. The next objective is it helps in the study of behavior and nature of costs. So there are different types of costs. For example, fixed costs, variable costs, etc., or materials, labor, etc., or it may be a expenditure at factory place, expenditure at administrative place, expenditure or costs at the selling and distribution place. The cost classification helps in the study of the behavior or the nature of costs that are incurred in a business. So in producing the goods or service or the products or rendering particular service. The next objective is it helps in valuation of work in progress. So this is very important for every business because so we not only use raw materials and immediately do not get the finished product. So there may be some work in progress at the end of a financial year or accounting year. So to take this into account for preparation of final accounts or for the purpose of cost control, so we need to estimate the work in progress also. This also helps in preparation of budgets, etc. So that is the reason why so we need to work out or evaluate the work in progress that is possible with the help of proper classification of the costs. The next objective is it helps for implementation of cost controls and decisions. Definitely, so we have to control the costs of various nature of elements of cost. For example, so materials or labor or other expenditures or costs at production side, costs at administrative side, etc. So if we make a proper classification of the cost, then if we understand the nature of the cost, then it is very useful or helpful for implementation of the cost controls and also taking a decision in the future. How much material we have to procure, at what price we have to purchase, or how many workers we have to engage, or what is the expected number of employees or workers required for expected or the projected production in the future, etc. This helps in decision making also. Then the other important objective is it helps in formulation of plans, budgets, policies, etc. So as I said earlier in the previous point, so a business has to make a plan well in advance, and while preparing the production budgets or human inventory budgets or material budgets, etc., or framing the policy whether a particular product is to be retained or dropped out, or whether a particular market is to be retained or not, we need to make the proper analysis, and this analysis is based on the information available from the classification of the cost. For example, the impact or the influence of fixed costs, the variable costs, etc. So, and using the marginal costing techniques, etc. So we can have the plans, budgets, and policies in the business. For all these purposes, so it is very essential to have a proper classification of the cost. Now, let us move on to the next aspect, important cost classifications for the purpose of ascertaining and recording of costs in the cost accounts. The total cost of production or service can be classified under different heads by adopting several criteria such as nature, type, time of expenditure or costs, etc. The important cost classification for the purpose of ascertaining and recording of costs in cost accounts are discussed in the coming slide. So please remember that. So there are several criteria or parameters of recording the classifying the costs. However, in this video, I am going to discuss the three methods of classifying the costs. So this classification is useful and helpful in ascertaining and recording of the costs in a systematic manner in the coming chapters. So that is the reason why let us confine our classification of costs to the three methods. Let us see these three methods of classification of the costs. The first method of cost classification of cost is element wise classification. Here we will identify three elements in the total costs. The first element is material. So material is nothing but stock of inventory. So this probably excludes the finished goods. So that is to be sent for selling or delivery purpose. Anyway, all the inputs, for example, so raw materials purchased or the components we purchase or lubricants or spare parts, all these things forms part of the materials. Material is stock of inventory held by so an organization or so a business. That is material. Now it may be in the form of raw material, semi-finished goods, or work in progress, or loose tools, components, etc. Then the materials can be further classified into two. The first one is direct material and the second one is indirect material. Let us see what is direct material. The direct material is the material the cost of which can be directly identifiable to an unit of output or a particular service rendered For example, if you want to manufacture a shirt or stitch a shirt, then you will use 2 meters of cloth. That 2 meters of cloth is a direct material because the cost can be directly attributable or chargeable to that particular shirt. So that is called direct material, which can be directly identifiable. Here in case of service, for example, hospital. If a patient is underwent or undergoes a surgery with say insertion of the stent in heart, the stent cost may around 25,000 rupees. That 25,000 rupees, the cost of stent is the direct material cost in the service, hospital service or the medical treatment. That is what we call as material cost. Let us see the example. Cloth in garments, gold in jewelry, all these are the direct materials. Then indirect materials are those materials which cannot be so identified directly with a so particular product or unit of output or service, but so they also forms the part of the product or service. For example, the threads which are used in stitching of a shirt or a trouser, etc., or the lubricants, etc., that are being used in servicing a vehicle, etc., are called as indirect materials. For example, lubricant oils, threads used in stitching of garments, etc., are treated as the indirect materials. Then let us move on to the next classification of element-wise classification of cost, that is labor cost. There are again two types of labors. One is direct labor and the other one is indirect labor. Let us first try to understand what is labor cost. Labor is the human efforts put in the either production of goods or rendering of services. I will repeat once again. Labor cost is the value or the monetary value of human efforts put in the manufacture of goods or products, etc., or rendering of services. These human efforts or cost can be direct labor cost and indirect labor cost. The direct labor cost is the cost which can be directly identifiable with a unit of output or a particular service rendered. For example, if a tailor stitches a shirt and charges say 100 rupees in a garment factory, that 100 rupees is direct labor. So because that can be directly charged to a particular shirt. Then a doctor, if he performs a surgery and he charges 10,000 rupees, so to a particular patient, then that is a direct, say, labor cost or direct labor expenditure. Then the other one is indirect labor cost, which cannot be directly identifiable. The cost of indirect labor cannot be directly identifiable, but that can be allocated or charged to a particular unit of output on certain basis or for a service on certain basis. For example, the supervisor in a garment industry or any other kind of such expenditures are treated as the indirect labor costs. The examples are tailor's wages, shoemaker wages are direct labor, Then indirect labor examples are supervisors, etc. Then let us move on to the third classification on element-wise classification of cost is other expenses or costs. We will call also this as the other expenditures. There are two types. One is direct expenditures and the other one is indirect expenditures. Indirect expenditures are those expenditures which are other than materials and labor costs, which can be directly identifiable to a unit of output or a product or a particular service rendered. For example, the power consumption which can be recorded and which can be charged to a particular activity. So these are kind of the direct expenditures. For example, again, power, excise duty, etc. The indirect expenditures are those expenditures again which are other than materials and labor cost and which cannot be directly chargeable or charged to a unit of output, but they can be allocated. The example are the lighting of the factory space, carriage inwards or carriage outwards, etc. So these are the classification of costs on the basis of elements. So elements of cost involved, that is material cost, labor cost and other expenditure. Let us move on to the next classification. The first one is fixed cost. So this classification is on the basis of behavior of the cost. The first classification on the basis of behavior is fixed costs. The fixed costs are those costs which remain fixed irrespective of the unit of output or the service rendered. Fixed costs are normally time bound or so they are remain fixed whether a particular activity takes place or not, irrespective of the volume of activity takes place or not. Let us see the example. Rent of the factory, insurance of the factory or machineries, plant, etc. They are remain fixed irrespective of the volume of output. They are called as fixed cost. The second classification is variable cost. Variable costs are also popularly called as marginal cost. They vary depend upon the change in the output. If one unit of output increases, variable cost increases, and if decreases, then variable cost also decreases, vice versa. If there is no output at all, variable cost will be nil. Example, direct materials. Suppose if you stitch one shirt, 2 meters of cloth is required, so the cost is say 200 rupees. If you stitch two shirts, 4 meters is required, 400 rupees. If you do not stitch anything, then it will be nil. That is called variable. It directly proportionally relation to the output or particular service rendered. So all direct material, direct wages, direct expenses are part of the variable costs. There is one more classification. So we can often find in big industries, that is semi-variable costs. Here, the costs are fixed to some extent of activity or time and they change once the level of activity changes. For example, salary of supervisors. If we have only 10 employees and one supervisor, fine. So then supervisor is one person, 10,000 rupees per se salary. If 20 workers are engaged, one additional supervisor is required, then this fixed cost of supervisor is now increasing. Fixed cost is increasing. This is called semi-variable cost. Even repairs, maintenance, etc. So they are called as semi-fixed. They are fixed to certain level of output or activity, and once the activity crosses that particular level, then this fixed cost will also change to other level. Then let us see the next classification of the cost, that is based on the functions of the business. This is also very important as far as a recording of the costs are concerned. The first two categories are the criteria of classification of costs is based on or is required for classification and ascertaining of the cost. The third one is for the purpose of recording of the cost. Let us see the first one, manufacturing or production costs. So this is also called as factory cost or production side costs, etc. So here all the costs that may be material, labor, or any other expenditures which may be direct or indirect, so are recorded, incurred and recorded in the production place. That's why they are called as manufacturing or production costs. It is also based on the function, that is on the basis of the production function of the business. Example: material, labor, factory rent, repairs and maintenance, packing, etc. So these are all exclusively incurred in the production function or manufacturing function of the business. The second one is administration costs. As we know, in the business, there are many administrative activities are to be undertaken, and a separate administrative division or department or people are working in this area, and all the expenditures incurred in this activity of the business or function of the business are called as administrative costs. For example, salaries of office staff, rent of office, directors' fees, etc. Then let us move on to the third important classification based on the function of the business is selling and distribution cost. Here, all the costs incurred, in the functioning of selling and distribution department or activity are treated as selling and distribution costs. For example, salaries of salesmen, showroom expenses, advertisement, carriage outward, repacking, warehouse, and storage expenditures, etc., are being recorded as selling and distribution cost. So these functional wise cost classification of cost is useful in recording of the cost. First we record the manufacturing costs or production costs, then we add administrative costs, then we add selling and distribution cost, then finally we get the total cost of production or the particular total service rendered being ascertained. So this is how the three basis of classification of cost is made for the purpose of analysis of the cost, then classification of the cost, ascertainment of the cost, and the recording of the cost in the process of ascertaining the total cost of the uh, unit of output produced or the service rendered. So with this, I will conclude this video here, and we will be meeting in the next video with the cost sheet. Thank you very much, and subscribe to this video and share with your friends and classmates. Thank you very much.